Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Wind Down with Yana. I'm your host, and today we're diving deep into a topic that's been making headlines and stirring up conversations, the Diddy trial. But more importantly, we're exploring the concept of soul ties and how they entangle us in relationships that are a little far from healthy. Now, before we get into it, I do want to acknowledge that due to my current housing situation, if you saw my last live last month, I explained everything. So if you haven't seen it, go ahead and watch that. But I'm not going to let that stop me, like I have been, from doing the things that make me happy. So grab a glass and let's get comfortable and unpack. Today, I have a Sauvignon Blanc 2024 from California. It is 13.5%. This is bottled from Napa. So, okay. On the taste profile, it's crisp and refreshing, bright flavors of citrus, green apple, and tropical fruit. Pairs with fresh seafood, goat cheese salads, or light pasta dishes. Now, I love me some pasta. So, definitely will be trying it with that. And it's a twist top, so that's even better. So picnic worthy. And I believe this one was $9.99 at Total Wine and More. Let's go ahead and let's give that a little swirl. Oh, on the nose, it's amazing. Let's see. That's good. It's light, perfect for this upcoming summer. Picnics, brunches with the girls, sunny days. And today we actually have some sun. Yesterday was a little odd. We had some rain that was not in the forecast, but we did not die. We did not melt. We just had to change some plans, but that's okay. Let's get started by understanding what soul ties are. A soul tie is a deep emotional and spiritual connection between two people. These bonds can form through various types of relationships, whether they be romantic, platonic, or even sexual. While soul ties can be positive, they can also become very toxic, especially when they keep us connected to someone that causes us harm. So, in the context of abuse, relationships, soul ties can make it incredibly difficult to leave, as we're seeing with Cassie. Um, Even when we know we should, they cloud your judgment, they erode our self worth, and they keep us trapped in cycles of pain. Whew. So let's go back to the Diddy trial. Um, he's facing serious allegations, including trafficking and abuse. And at the center of this trial is his ex girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. She's bravely come forward with her testimony. Look at me all tongue tied. She alleges during the relationship, Diddy subjected her to many years of abuse and manipulation. She describes patterns of control that left her feeling worthless and afraid. And these allegations aren't just about physical, but emotional and psychological torment. Um, I honestly think she's very brave for telling her story, and which is why I'm bringing up the soul ties, because I don't think people really understand how all of that connects to what's going on. She is the victim. She is a victim, but yeah. It's more important to note that these are allegations and the legal process is ongoing. However, Cassie's testimony sheds light on the complexities of abusive relationships and the powerful hold that soul ties can have. Her experiences highlight how soul ties can entangle someone in harmful relationships despite the alleged abuse. She remained in the relationship for years. It's not uncommon, and the emotional bond and the history keeps hope for change. All these factors can make it incredibly hard to walk away. Now, let me tell you, I have conversations like this with my girlfriends frequently. I have conversations like this with just people in general when we're talking about things where, especially as women, we have all talked about how we've been in a situation that we shouldn't have been in and stayed in a lot longer than we have. Um, I can tell you from my own experience, I was in a relationship that definitely was not healthy for me. It left me, one, feeling very immature. It left me, when I say immature, I mean to the point where I would have moments of self doubt. I had moments of worthlessness. I had moments of pain that I projected frequently. I did not know who I was. When I looked in the mirror, I didn't see what other people saw. So, sure, physically, people are like, oh my gosh, you're so this, you're so that, but not understanding the hurt that I had going on inside. I've talked to friends that, have been in relationships where they've done things that they wouldn't ordinarily do if it wasn't for that person. And we all have that one person. If you haven't, then you are the person that a person is weak over. But it sucks when you are so emotionally tied to somebody that can get you to do things that you don't like. Like I said, the relationship I was in was horrible. I put up with things that no one should put up with. I did things that I would not do now. I mean, let's just be completely honest. I wouldn't do it now, but I had to want to be stronger for myself, for my kids, and that has helped me grow a lot. But I also was damaging in my relationship because of that. So I had a lot of things that I had to grow out of because being in a situation, I mean, mine wasn't as bad as Cassie's, let me tell you that. There was no, yeah, a lot of the stuff that she had to go through, I wasn't going through that. But emotionally, mentally, I dealt with a lot. I took a lot, and it was just damaging. They say it takes a good, I believe it's 7 years to detach from a person. 7 years. So think about that. And even when you want to leave, when you know you should be leaving, you still don't, because like they said, the memories, the history, the bond, it keeps you tied to that person. So I get it. I empathize with her, and there are people who are trying to make her look like she's the bad person. We've all done things that we've not wanted to do per se to keep a person. And if you say you haven't, you're the manipulator. You've been the person that the person is trying to run from. But we've all done things to keep somebody. And it sucks. You feel like a schmutz for doing it, but it is what it is. Cassie even mentioned that she would return the $20 million settlement if it meant erasing the traumatic experiences that she endured. That statement truly speaks volumes about the depth of her pain and the lasting impact of the relationship. There's no amount of money that can take away the pain. And it sucks that people are looking at her and they're placing her in this category of, oh, she's a gold digger, she's doing this, it was all about money, it was all about that. She was 19 years old. She was already a model, uh, with her own contract, building a career and a life of her own. She met him thinking he was going to be amazing for her. He was going to help her advance her career, just being positive and whatnot. And for it to turn out the way that it has, I get it. I truly get it. So it's been heartbreaking listening to the people who are allowed to be in there and hear her live with everything that's going on. Um, I've cried a little bit because, like I've said in previous episodes, I am a complete empath. I'm also a Pisces. So I feel certain things that at a different level, I guess you can say. So it's heartbreaking for her. Um, Toxic soul ties have devastating effects on your mental, emotional well-being. They can lead to anxiety, depression, and diminish self sense of self. Breaking free from ties often requires immense strength and support. And when I tell you, living testimony of that, it is the honest to God truth. Therapy, if it wasn't for therapy, if I didn't have people in my corner that poured into me, like when I tell you pour into me, the amount of love that I have from my support system is incredible. It is completely incredible. Um, my bestie and I, she treats me amazing. So heard something. She treats me amazing. My daughter pours into me. My son pours into me, frequently. He's the most gentle, kind soul on the planet. My honey pours into me. I mean, he does it with tough love, but sometimes you need somebody that's going to be firm on you. Like, look, pull it together. You are that girl. Keep going. And I recently, with going through everything that we're going through, realized that I have people at work that genuinely love and care about me. Just had something happen, but um, they have been so supportive. They have poured an amount of love into me that I can't even put into words how thankful I am for them. They have shown me compassion, and that's helping me with, like I said, soul ties, they lead to different things. I have been clinically diagnosed with anxiety and depression, and it takes work, like daily, to survive that. Like, it's not something that's just like, oh, you wake up the next day and you're fine. No, no, it's years. And no, I wasn't always consistent with my therapy journey. No, I didn't always believe everything that I was being fed, and it does affect you. And I wouldn't want to change it for the world, because it's made me the woman that I am today. So I applaud Cassie, the fact that she is, married with children. She's a great mom, from what her husband is saying. Her kids seem happy. So, you know, I don't think that that should take away from, anything. Like, people don't get it. Statistics show that this is a widespread issue. 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men will experience severe physical violence by an intimate partner in their lifetime. 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men. We are not excluding men from this, because guess what? Men, I don't think they get enough credit when they speak out about what they're going through in uh, violent relationships. And so many times it becomes a joke, like women aren't mean. I mean, like I said, I felt myself being mean, and I did not like that. I do not like that. But there are some really messed up women in the world. I was going to curse, but I caught myself. So it's not just women, it's men who experience it as well. And we have to make sure that we acknowledge that, you know, as well. Over 61 million women and 53 million men have experienced psychological aggression by an intimate partner in their lifetime. Let's take a breath on that. That is insane. They always say hurt people, and that is the honest to God truth. However, I was told in one of my therapy sessions that meeting energy with energy is why there are so many hurt people. And it takes a lot of self control to not match energy. And I definitely hold that in the forefront of my mind now when I'm going through situations, whether it's with, you know, my, whether it's with my man, whether it's with my kids, whether it's with my friends, whether it's with even my my coworkers, because no one should get you to the point of losing control. Yes, you do it sometimes, but you know, you got to really be conscious and aware, and self-awareness is something that I really had to learn to work with. And I promise you, if I wasn't actively doing that, what I'm going through right now would definitely have me in the worst mind frame. And I'm being completely honest, so I can only imagine, you know, what's going through. These numbers highlight that anyone, regardless of gender, can find themselves in such situations. Um, and everyone is capable of being violent. I don't care what anybody says. The sweetest person, if pushed to that limit, is capable of being violent. So I don't want to hear anyone say that, but you have to think about the mental capacity of that person that you're dealing with. And there are so many people, I forgot what it's called. It's not gaslighting, but there's like this manipulation that, you know, people do where it's like they push your buttons and they do certain things till they bring out that aggression in you, and then they go, see, look at you, you're, look at what you're doing, so that way they can go and say, see, I told you this person was X, Y, and Z, and look at how they're treating me, and you know, so on and so on. And those are the people that are normally keeping you in those soul ties, because they know what to say, they know what to do to get you there. um, there's this phrase, breadcrumbing, and I didn't know. And a lot of these terms, yes, I hate when people say, oh, you're using new lingo. Well, maybe they didn't have a word for it. They didn't have a word for ADHD, autism, things like that, you know, back in the day. But the more people studied, they said we have to put a term on it. You know, there has to be some sort of label to get people to have a name for it. So I'm not going to be the person to say, oh, well, these scientists and therapists that have worked so hard to come up with this stuff, they're just trying to create these narratives. No, the actions were always there. Maybe the label wasn't. However, let's talk about the breadcrumbing. And that's how most people that end up in these tumultuous relationships end up there. It starts with the breadcrumbing. The person comes in and they're so amazing. They know the right things to say to you. They do the right actions. And then when they don't feel like it anymore, that's when they pull back. But it's too late for you because you've already been too caught up into it. You're attached. It's like this encompassing flame that you just can't get over. And I know that sounds bad. It because it probably is bad to feel that way about somebody, but that's what happens, and it sucks. And you find yourself doing things that you wouldn't do, like letting your person stay and not work and not contributing to the house, and you're paying all the bills, things of that nature. Or in the case of Cassie, you know, you're doing things that you think is going to make that person love you more. And that sucks. I can't tell you how many women I have talked to, how many women I'm friends with who have told me that they've done things, whether it's been sex, to keep a man. Sex ain't gonna keep a man. Babies ain't gonna keep a man. If that man want to stay, he's gonna stay. If he wants to go, he's gonna go. We've all been victim of it. And there are men that have done things. They think, oh, well, if I buy her this bag, if I take her on this trip, if I take her out to dinner more, you know, it's going to make her do this for me. And it's not. It's not. And it almost feels like you're manipulating the person because you're doing so much. You're giving so much and exacerbating so much energy just for somebody and it's not being reciprocated. And it sucks. It sucks. But it's not you, it's that person. And for whatever reason, they know how to get you to hold on and stay and think you're gonna have something better. And it really sucks. But, healing from soul ties is definitely something that you can do, but it requires intentional effort. And when I tell you, it's day in and day out. On days when you are not feeling it, you have to do it. When I tell you, and I've said in many of my episodes, I affirm myself daily, like daily. When I'm having moments where I'm not at my best, that's when I really have to dig into it and, remind myself I am that girl. It doesn't matter what somebody else feels about me. I am her, period. But seeking professional help, I've talked about my therapy journey, and now I am definitely, leaning into it more. Like I journal more, whether it's on my phone or in my physical journal. And it's it's helped me immensely. But you definitely have to go see, especially when you've gone through something like this, grief therapy, because it's not until you realize how much is on you that you need the help. Establishing boundaries, learning to say no and setting clear boundaries is crucial. Boundaries is something I have always had a problem with because I'm already a giver by nature, and I don't know how to like stop. And they always say givers are going to give and takers are going to take. Well, unless you're with an aware person, like both people have to be aware of, certain things, it's not going to work. I am thankful to now have a circle where we're all givers. we, we love hard, we care hard, and we do for each other. It may not be like an equal, oh, on this day we're all doing this, but it is an equal situation. So if I'm going out with my best friend, I'll get the movie tickets, she may buy snacks. That's just an example. I'm not, don't give all my details because me and my bestie are locked in. That's just what it is. My daughter, if she does something for me, it's like, okay, but I want to, I do things for her as well. But that's my baby. So, it's a totally different situation. But still, but if I say no, I'm not doing, certain things, then that's just what it is. There's no why, no, none of that guilt, nothing, nothing. So, no. Self care. I have been talking about this since I started. Self care is everything. And I don't mean no BS self care. Oh, I just want to get my nails done. Yes, that is self maintenance. I do believe in that wholeheartedly. Trust me. I need to go get a little self maintenance done on these nails. But self care is definitely a requirement. I take my walks during my breaks, like religiously, my 2 15 minutes plus my lunch break. I am doing that for myself because I know what my schedule looks like right now. It is beyond chaotic, but I need to have moments of time to talk to myself, to keep myself grounded so I'm not spiraling because there's so much going on right now. And once you do that, it can easily affect you to where now you're spiraling and you're going through, the motions, and then your attitude affects others around you. So, self-care, very important. Yes. Support system. That is the biggest thing that I can say I am thankful for through this journey right now. And I don't think I would have the support system that I have now if it wasn't for my honey pushing for me to do certain things. And when I say pushing, meaning saying that was a requirement for him to feel comfortable being with me. Be with someone that cares about your mental health, because we all need people. And one thing I can say I have learned is not one person can support everything that you're going through. We are all going through shit. Therapists have therapists. You can't put all your eggs in one basket emotionally, physically. You have to, you have to have a support system. Like, it has to be more than one person. And you have to be there for those people as well. It can't just be one-sided. So helping others helps me. Like, even going through what I'm going through, me being able to help other people helps me help me. I think I said that right. I hope you understood it. But it does. So you definitely need a support system, and you can tell when people genuinely care because of how they show up for you. I don't want to say I've lost friends because they weren't meant to be there. If you're gone, you're gone. That's just what it is. But I've had some people that I thought were locked in, and they weren't. And it stung a little bit. I'm not going to lie, because it's like, dang, I didn't expect that. But it happened. What am I going to do? Nothing. It is what it is. It happened. So I'm just thankful that I have the people that are meant to be in my life now. Um, Healing is a journey. It's not overnight. It's not every day is going to be the same. And you ride the waves. And those waves sometimes can be, what's the word I'm looking for? They can be rough. It's like going to the beach and that water, and you see those waves and they're just picking up, and you're just like, oh, it's so beautiful. Me as a Pisces, my peaceful place is the water. So I tell people all the time, if you want to have a moment with me, a bottle of wine and the beach is always, a great thing. I'm trying to see if I can get this. Okay, so the wine doesn't want to be on camera. Apparently, the wine is camera shy, but I'll leave it in this corner. That is one of the best things that I can do with somebody is go to the beach. I just went to the beach last weekend, and it was amazing. Like, I kept going. That's why I'm so peaceful right now. I'm in my comfort zone. We have a fountain at my job that when that water is going and I'm listening to the sound of it, it is the most satisfying thing on the planet to me. So always remember to do that. But I also want to hear with you, hear from you, hear with you. Lord help me. It's been a while. Don't judge me. I want to hear from you, if you've experienced the soul tie, and how hard was it for you to break? How did you navigate it? So, like I said, I'm here, no judgment. Like I said, I've been through it. I have been openly sharing pieces of the stuff that I've gone through that has made me the woman that I am today. So, like I said, no judgment. I would love to hear from you. And plus, sharing your story also helps other people with theirs. So if you feel comfortable with sharing, the comments. But as we wrap up, I want to remind you that you're not alone. If you're in a situation that feels unhealthy, unsafe, you can reach out to me, someone that you trust, and definitely seek professional help. There are definitely resources all over that are there for you. But thank you for joining me tonight. I'm happy to be back. It was definitely intentional for me to do this today. I made every excuse on not doing this. I could give you a million excuses, but it was the one reason that made me say, I am betting against myself. So just freaking do it. But I thank you again. Thank you for joining me tonight. Again, tonight's featured wine was a 2024 Sauvignon Blanc from Napa, California, 13.5% from Total Wine and More. Amazing. Love it. Need to have a picnic so I can pour this for some people. But until next time, take care of yourselves, and I will see you next week.
Yes, you blessed like an aged bottle of wine, so fine. Not to mention if